Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Curveball Convos with your boys at Carolina Curveball. Myself, Kason Romeli, joined by Braxton and Reed Tobin. It is good to see you, boys. It has been a minute, Braxton, since we've seen you, sir. It's good to have you back on. And Reed, I'm glad you made it back from Omaha in one piece. I'm glad you took it easy at Rocco's, or maybe not. It's good to have you back. Unfortunately, baseball season is over. It is very sad. It takes forever for the season to get here, and then when it gets here, it goes by in a blink. Um, Baseball season starts at the end of football season, goes through March Madness, goes through the Masters, goes into the summer, and is the last collegiate sporting event of the calendar year. Sad every year this time, but don't be sad because it's over. Be sad because it happened. Braxton, it's good to see you, sir.
Yeah, great to be here. Obviously, haven't been able to be on as much here towards the end of the season, but you guys have been holding down the fort. Fantastic job, running through all the postseason content. So I really appreciate the efforts from you guys, just from the start. But yeah, I mean, what a season! I'm just really thankful that we've been able to, as Curveball collectively, make it this far into the season, back to back years with a team, a rep in the national title. So to start out, that's awesome. Last year Coastal Carolina's magical run. This year Carolina made a lot of noise. The heels, and yeah, I mean, if we can last that long every year, that'd be fantastic. Obviously, we'd love to win one here, get another national title in the Carolinas. Um, but man, it just shows how good the baseball is here, year in and year out. Um, we've always got top 10, top five teams in the country, um, every year, and it's just awesome to be a part of that and be able to watch. I mean, I'm always going to be watching, you know, the baseball closely when it comes to the College World Series, but to just have Carolina teams there year in and year out makes it even better for us, as Curveball and just as local guys, in the Carolinas. So yeah, I'm really proud of this Tar Heel team. I was able to watch them pretty closely, throughout the postseason at regionals and super regionals, and then Reed obviously was able to go to Omaha. And, it was a great season. There's nothing to hang their heads about. Obviously, it's a familiar feeling for Carolina fans at this stage on the baseball field. Losing in the final, it's now the third or fourth time that that's happened, and it's unfortunate, but you've got to be proud. The hunt continues for them for that trophy. I know that Coach Forbes and them will not give up. They're going to come right back at it next season and the season after that and the season after that, and they're going to just keep fighting because one day it will go right for them. I thought it was going to be this year, but they run into the hottest team in the country in the Oklahoma Sooners, and congratulations to them as well. That's a team that lost in the final in 2022 and deserved, kind of a give back themselves. So, um, you know, congrats, credit to them as well. The title does stay in the SEC, which isn't the greatest result for us, but hey, it's shown how dominant they've been in our sport, and yeah. So what a season, though. We have so much to talk about and that we can get into not only tonight, but this week as we get some more content out, end of year content, and we move right along into the summer months, and then baseball. That's the nice thing about it is it starts all over again. Recruiting trails and transfer portals, and fall ball comes right along when as you roll, or summer ball first. As some of these guys will be developing in summer ball, and then you get into fall ball, and then it starts all over again, come next winter, and we'll be right back, previewing the next season. So just couldn't be happier with our progress as well as Curveball this season. I'm really proud of us as a group, as well as we couldn't do that without all of you guys, tuning in every week and just helping us grow. It's been a real, blessing for me, especially to just be a part of this. So I just want to thank everyone for that. But yeah, man, I'll let Reed kind of talk about his experience in Omaha here. It's really awesome that he got to go. I can't wait to eventually join him out there one day. Hopefully, we have some more teams to cover. Um, But yeah, I'm sure you had a great time, Reed, and what an experience it must have been for you to go out there as a Carolina fan and just be able to watch us make that run.
Yeah, it was a special trip. Trip I'll never forget. Like you said, Braxton, I look forward to the day that you and Kaysen get to finally go out to Omaha. But I mean, just everything about it. I mean, that's a special place in my heart. Just the whole baseball too, just the atmosphere in the city. How friendly the locals were and everything like that. Something I'll cherish for the rest of my life. It's been a heck of a season covering. I'm just sad that the season is finally over and we've got eight months till baseball resumes, which I'm most bummed out about.
It is sad indeed that baseball season is over. But Braxton, first of all, I want to say you couldn't have said it any better. I want to thank everyone for the support. It's been one heck of a ride. Lots of work, lots of late hours, but it is all worth it. And like you said, Braxton, it's good watching these teams go far. Whether it's North Carolina in the College World Series final, or teams like Wake Forest, Coastal, ECU, NC State, regional mainstays, watching them in the postseason. It's always good to have postseason baseball. There's nothing better than it at all. But let's kind of, Braxton, get your thoughts on the heels in terms of X's and O's stuff on the field. Just your thoughts on the final and what transpired in Omaha.
Yeah, I'll kind of start with the bracket play before the finals. I thought they played tremendously well throughout that. Starting with the Ole Miss game, coming out, DeCaro. He didn't have his best stuff, but he was able to give them a chance to win, which is what you want out of your first starter. I thought the offense did really, really well in those first three games. They weren't able to do as well in the final, but I think that Gavin Gallagher really stepped up. I think he led the tournament in RBIs. He may not have by the end, but at one point he was. He was really coming up with big 2-out hits for that offense, and that's your leader that you look to there. I mean, he's one of the only guys on the roster, I believe. Maybe it's definitely a few others, but offensively, probably the only guy, maybe one other that has been there before on this stage. And he was obviously a freshman at that time in 2024 when he stepped onto the field in Omaha. And just, when you look back at his Carolina career, really, and just the way that that kid played in the postseason was truly just special. Every time he put on that jersey, you think back to the last three seasons and how many postseason meaningful baseball games he's played in that jersey and how he showed up every single time. It's truly, he was one of the greats. I'm obviously he has another year left, but he'll probably end up going to the draft. It is a draft year for him. So, looking back on what could be his Carolina career, it was just such a great postseason player. He really earned that right to with the way he played in June for 3 straight years. Really, he really just balled out when it mattered most for Carolina. So I just wanted to start with that. Obviously Carolina's big thing all year has been on the mound. You look at the Caden Glauber story. Just for a kid that's 17 years old, or he's 18 now, I think, but a kid that should be graduating high school last week is pitching on the biggest stage. He's won 30. He's won in almost 30 games this season pitching for you this year. And just to be able to go to a kid that young, that consistently, and have that much trust and faith in him it's just such a weapon for Forbes and those guys to have. And man, he looked, when he came out against West Virginia, I think that's the best he looked all season. When he closed out, I think it was that first West Virginia game. He came in
Final
and
two
just
outs.
absolutely, yeah, he just absolutely shut the door. I have never seen him throwing that with that much adrenaline. It was kind of at that point where I realized like this team is going to make a run here at this thing, and they were looking spectacular on the mound. Lynch and DeCaro both, like if they didn't have their best stuff, it was just handed over to the next guy like McDuffie or Glauber, and they were able to handle the business. And that was the best part about this Carolina pitching staff is that it was kind of a next guy up mentality, but most of the time that next guy up was Caden Glauber. And, he just got the ball in those spots and he pitched it and competed really hard, really well. And the offense did their thing when they needed to. And I think that's really ultimately what led to this success for Carolina. And not only that, they really pounced on mistakes that other teams made. You look at the West Virginia games, the West Virginia defense really let them down at times, and Carolina made them pay, right? Like, I think about Owen Holt's tournament. He had some big swings there too. I mean, I just can't believe how good of a season that kid had with the way he started too. I mean, he started really, really slow, and you were kind of wondering, what do we have here in this? He walked into some big shoes with Vance Honeycutt and Kane Kepley in center field, and you knew he was talented with the numbers he put up at George Mason, and same with Schaffner too. I mean, you knew these kids were going to be good, but I wasn't really sure about them. I had a lot of question marks on this offense at the start of the year, but between those two kids that you got out of the portal there in Schaffner and Hull, I mean, what a luxury to have those guys at 1 and 2, 1 and 3 in your lineup every day. And they just played phenomenally. Left-handed sticks, speed, great defenders, and they really balled out in the postseason as well. And shout out to Owen Hull. I mean, he played himself into a very top draft prospect this season, hitting close to 390. Almost 90, over 90 RBIs, I believe, on the year, which is Colin Moran territory, which is legend status at UNC. Just an incredible player. And I got the opportunity to watch him, walk it off and send the Heels to Omaha in person, which is something I'll never forget as well. So just an incredible season. As far as the final went, I don't think there's anything you can blame on the coaching staff. I don't think they made any bad decisions. Game 1 really just didn't go your way. I think if it does kind of go your way, I think the biggest takeaway I have from Carolina is they had some really costly base running mistakes that kind of costed them in big spots. In both the games they lost, that kind of changed the trajectory of those games. And it's kind of something you're going to beat yourself up over, because that's stuff you work on every day in practice, different base running reads and first to thirds, things like that. And I think if there's something that's going to keep Coach Forbes up at night, it's going to be those things that really just you can't mess up on that stage, because it really does change the trajectory of games. I think about Carter French getting thrown out at third on game 3. That really changed the trajectory of that game. Not that it was going in Carolina's favor yet, but it really killed off what could have been a big inning for Carolina. And same thing in game 1. I think there was a mistake. Was it Nicholson? I can't even remember. But there was just a couple where, it really felt like Carolina could have some big innings at times, and they were either running themselves out of innings or striking out in big spots. They just couldn't get it done with the bats with runners in scoring position, what felt like all series long in the final. And that's a credit to Oklahoma's pitching as well. I thought they pitched the ball phenomenally, and they really had to. They turned to a lot of young guys. They had a bunch of freshmen throwing on that stage. We talk about Glauber, but look at Oklahoma's pitching. I mean, they had 3 or 4 freshmen going out there and just taking the ball and looking like they've done that for years in Omaha. So, I think it's a credit to them as well. And, obviously their offense was probably the spotlight of the entire NCAA tournament, with the way they hit the ball down in Atlanta, and then obviously winning supers, and then what they did in Omaha to, the only team that beat them in Omaha was Carolina as well. So, what a team they had, what a year they had. They deserve it. But man, it was a fun series to watch. I can't imagine how fun of a series it was to be there, Reed. It looked like the fans on both sides were absolutely immense, incredible atmosphere, especially game 3 there. And then obviously game 2, the one Carolina won, must have been a great time for Carolina fans out there. Something that would have been really cool to be a part of. So I am very satisfied with the way Carolina played. Obviously, you can kick yourself all you want if you're a coaching staff, if you're a Carolina fan. It's devastating to lose at that stage again. And, I would be lying to you if I wasn't, beat up over it a little bit. But you know what? I was more proud than I was kind of beat up over it. I think, I really did enjoy watching this team play this year. And what they finished 54-14 and won with the famous tie. So yeah, what a season, but just came up a game short, and that's just baseball, man. You can be the best team in the country and come up a game short, and that's just the way it shakes out sometimes. And that's why it's probably the hardest. I would argue it's probably one of the hardest sports to win a national championship in, if not the hardest. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an Oklahoma buzzsaw. I mean, all credit to them. It just wasn't meant to be for Carolina. Looking back on game 1, 2, Oklahoma took the lead on UNC, went up 2-0 in all 3 games too.
Yeah.
Which is something we haven't seen Carolina do much, is have to come from behind in a lot of games too. But I mean, Oklahoma just hit the ball hard all weekend. They pieced up DeCaro on Saturday too, and Carolina just kind of was just lifeless offensively those last few innings too. It reminded me a lot of USC. I kept telling myself after that at the end of the game that it reminded me exactly how the USC game 1 went after USC took the lead. Carolina's offense kind of just fell flat and everything like that. But I think a thing I look back on is in game 2, if Ryan Lynch doesn't get hurt there, obviously Glauber doesn't have to come in and throw 5 innings. I mean, there's no telling, maybe Oklahoma pieces up Lynch those next few innings, but after that first inning, Lynch really settled in and everything like that, and Glauber was sensational. Incredible atmosphere being there as a Carolina fan when they won on Sunday too. And then, both fan bases really showed up all weekend too. The build up on Monday was very special. And Oklahoma just took it to them. Jackson Willett, he was sensational. All of Omaha MVP. I think he batted like something like 14 for 28 while he was out in Omaha. Some ridiculous numbers. Kyle Branch at the bottom of the order killed Carolina. He had some big hits there in game 1 too. Then obviously the nail in the coffin with the home run on Monday night too. And then Dighton LaChance too. DeCaro couldn't get him out there in those first few innings on Saturday too. And then the Mercurius brothers were sensational, I thought, on the mound all weekend. Just gave Carolina a ton of fits too. Besides the first 4 guys and Carter French in that lineup, the bottom of the order really struggled in the championship series. You mentioned the base running mistakes. I don't know if there's many things I would have did differently if I was Forbes. One thing I look back on that I kind of thought there at the end of the game was, me personally, I probably would have left Jackson Rose to get that last out. I believe it was like the 3rd inning when they pulled him 2 outs too, and they were able to get some key hits too. And then, I mean, I'm not going to complain or anything, but I mean, my God, the ump had some very questionable strike zone.
I mean, I mentioned it in the first inning. I thought I was talking about it in the first inning. I thought Rose got squeezed a bit there. He got himself in a jam in both the first and second inning, which rose his pitch count. No pun intended there. It got his pitch count up right away. He was getting squeezed, walking a couple batters, and it wasn't really his fault. I thought he made really good pitches.
Yeah.
And then I look on the other side, and we're getting rung up on balls off the plate, and I was just like, all right, what's going on here? But, like Forbes kind of said, it's not an excuse, especially when you get beat that bad. But I certainly thought that Rose was getting squeezed a bit early in that game, and it kind of did set the tone for the game a little bit. But nonetheless, all credit to Oklahoma just hitting the ball like they did, and they just applied pressure. I mean, you think about also, Reed, every time they got a runner on, they were able to move and cause havoc. And I don't think Carolina's really had to deal with a team that good on the bases all season, really. Yeah. I mean, outside of maybe there's a couple ACC teams I think that ran on them a bit, but like they really controlled the run game and just applied pressure constantly. Like I remember if they would get a runner on first via a walk or a hit, like he was getting to second and third within a few pitches, and it's like you can't keep them off the scoreboard if they're going to do that. So
yeah, I thought Heineck struggled severely defensively, and then offensively too is a different story. But I mean, like you said though, Braxton, I mean it was a hell of a season for North Carolina. There's nothing to hang your head on. I know it's disappointing they came up short of their first ever national title. But, being at the team hotel after the game too, the reception they received coming back there, that was really, really special to see too. The amount of support, the amount of people that were proud of them. They will be back in Omaha in no time. There's no doubt about it. In my mind, their moment will come. Sometimes Forbes is doing an incredible job with this program, but Oklahoma, you got to give all the credit in the world to them. This 3-week run they went on was arguably maybe the hardest run of all time. It's up there with 2008 Fresno State. You just got to clap your hands to Oklahoma.
Yeah, considering they were down late versus Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
both
of those games they were down. They were down. Yeah, they were down 8-2 in the elimination game in the first regional title game that Sunday night comeback when they were down 6-3 too Monday night too against Georgia Tech. Comeback win, destroy Kansas, Big 12 champs, destroy Alabama, handled Georgia both games too, and then took it to North Carolina 2 out of those 3 games.
You can confidently say they beat the best teams in the country besides UCLA. UCLA. Is there any other team in that echelon you would put in there besides? They beat everyone besides UCLA.
The 4 best teams all year, in my opinion, was UCLA, Georgia Tech, Georgia, and North Carolina, and they beat Georgia twice, they beat UNC twice, they beat Georgia Tech twice. I think
too.
Yeah, Bama too, Kansas twice. The pair ratings too. They posted something I saw the other day ago listing the difficulty of paths for all the past national title winners, and Oklahoma was number 1.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Just looking at the teams they beat, and Reed, I was telling you last show, like they run the state of Georgia. They beat. You beat Georgia Tech and then Georgia. This is unbelievable. But my thoughts. North Carolina's going to be right back as long as Scott Forbes is at the helm. He's not going anywhere. South Carolina fans, I don't know what you're smoking to make you think
they
that.
Got their guy, though,
huh?
They got their guy though.
Yeah, they did, and he's built quite a roster. We'll touch on the portal later this summer, but his roster right now, it's something. I can't even lie to you. But as long as Scott Forbes is there and his support staff, he's always going to hit a portal. He has every year the portal. I can name 10 guys that he got from the portal that were not. From every level. What was the kid from Westland? Was it Bass? Was that his
Tyson
name?
Bass.
From Westland? Yeah. Tyson Bass playing at the D3 level. Hit. Bringing in guys like Parks Harbor from Georgia. Hit. Heineck, Georgia State. Hit. Kepley, Liberty. Hit. Owen Hall. And, let's give a moment for Owen Hall. He was, one of the best baseball players, college baseball I've ever seen. And he was good. He was good at George Mason, but he was, if you would have told me this when he was at George Mason, I would have said, I don't know about that. But, and then Braxton, go ahead, Reed.
Go ahead, Case. I was just going to say, had I told you the season he was going to have after the first 3 weeks,
that's exactly what I was getting at. Because Braxton, I remember standing with you behind home plate watching and Clark LeClaire in Greenville in February. He was just a monster hitting BP, and then you watch him on the screen and you see he's batting like 170. And I remember you sitting here telling me, it's like, if he turns it on, they can go places. And then me and Steven were right there, and it's like, well, he's got to turn on sooner than later. And I tell you what, he turned on at the right time because it's crazy to see him bat what he did, considering his average in February is insane.
Yeah.
Is insane.
Yeah, that's why you can't really look at the numbers in February, but you certainly would like to start the season hot, but I think it's almost better to have that slow start. If you're talented enough, you can always turn it on. But I was more looking at, he just didn't look comfortable at the plate that first month. Like he really didn't have much of an approach. I don't know. I was kind of wondering whether we got a legit player. I haven't seen it. We know when you get a new guy out of the portal, you that first month is kind of their test run. Like, hey, show us what you got. We're playing non-conference right now. It matters, but it's also like let's see what we got, because you really don't know. You can play all the fall ball and inter squads you want and all the spring ball you want leading up to the season, but you don't know what you have until you line it up on that opening day, opening series, and then those first few weeks. And I was really just kind of watching his at bats. I wasn't sure. He didn't really have a great approach, and then all of a sudden he just something clicked, and he just was having incredible games. I mean, he was posting extra base hits all the time. He would just quietly go 4 for 5 like type games, and it was just like all of a sudden he's hitting 400 and leading the league in RBIs, and it's like, well, where did this come from? And I mean, then the postseason he had also was just, I'd argue probably one of the best offensive players in the entire postseason, for sure. So yeah, he's going to be missed next year. Obviously, he'll probably get a high draft pick, I would imagine, first 2-3 rounds, maybe first round. I'm not really sure.
It kind of reminds me of the start Dighton LeChance had on Oklahoma too.
His build really does remind me of Sky Bolt. The more I watch him in person, dude, like he has that just athletic. It's kind of like Vance Honeycutt too, but Vance Honeycutt was more of a, I don't know. Sky Bolt just had a weird athletic ability that was just like physically off the charts, and that's kind of what Owen Hull reminds me of. Just his physical stature and his projectability, scouts are going to fall in love with. And he seems like such a good kid too. Like he really seems like he loves the game, studies film, things like that. Like really just wants to be great. And I mean, it showed. I mean, when you're hitting close to 400 at this level, I don't care who you are, like you're a stud. So yeah, man, just shout out to him. What a year he had, and what a postseason as well.
You got anything else, Reed? Because I was going to go to someone else.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say the comparison, we touched on Owen Hull's start to the season, but, Dighton LeChance on Oklahoma too. I mean, the numbers, I think first 30 games of the season, 0 home runs, last 31, 19. So that's why Oklahoma is the national champs. Just the power surge they had and everything over the last month and a half. If you compare the numbers to like the start of May to what it finished now, is mind-boggling.
Absolutely. And looking forward, actually, no, we're not going to look forward to next season, but I mean, what was I about to say? I had something on my head that I want to touch on. Oh, Eric Paulson. Let's touch on him. Just what a story, winning on Father's Day for his dad.
Yeah.
He was outstanding all postseason, regional MVP in the Chapel Hill Regional. Really also lifted them above Southern Cal in the Super Regional as well, and then was phenomenal in Omaha. Just phenomenal story. Dad passing away last July. Him getting the win on Father's Day, 3 hits on Father's Day. Finishes the year above 300, 11 home runs, 56 RBI. Just phenomenal season from him. Also played a solid first base. Had some big double saving plays at first base in the postseason. So just really, really, really great story there from Eric Paulson.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another guy that I wasn't really sure what we were getting with him. And he's kind of the opposite of Hull. He started off really well. He had some really some home runs there in the first month, and you were like, man, this guy could be a stud. He had a great season. I was really surprised the way he handled himself all year. He's not necessarily an older guy yet, and he looked the part over there at first base. He looked really calm all the time. He never really he never really seemed like you could get him out of his game, and that was the one thing I noticed with Paulson. Like, he just was a consistent player over there, played pretty good defense for all year. You're not sure what you're getting out of a bigger guy over there defensively. And he was a glove over there, man. Like, I thought he was a really solid defender, and he had a couple of up and down moments in like kind of tail end of the regular season, but Forbes just kept sticking him out there, and he kept doing a job for the Heels. And this is the kind of guy you're going to rely on next year if you get him to return to the team. He's going to be a real leader there in that dugout now that he's been there, done that before, and knows the coaching staff. He's going to get closer to all the players as well, and some of the new guys that'll come in. He can kind of help them along, I think, and I think he's going to be a big time bat for this team next year as well. And he could certainly turn himself into a pro prospect.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Yes, he's draft eligible, but I think Carolina needs to do every part they can. I think he could absolutely be one of the core leaders on that team next year. I would be pushing in a big way to have him back next season.
Same with Nicholson too.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then obviously, what you're going to have on the mound.
Yeah,
looks
you're going to have to rebuild up
the
middle. You're going to have to rebuild up the middle. I think they're going to get a lot on the corners back. I was talking with some of our friends, Reed, about that. Just kind of what you're just looking at next year. I think you're going to have to obviously replace up the middle in center field, obviously shortstop and second base, and then probably you might get Heineck back, but you're going to lose.
He's gone. He's a senior, so
yeah.
I
So you're going to need a new catcher too, probably.
Depends if Winslow, with the way his season ended, maybe he comes back. I don't know. We'll see. Carolina's already got a portal commit at catcher.
Yeah.
So that'll be you can build off Nicholson and Paulson, and then the pitching is going to be really special next year with Glauber probably being the Friday night guy. Rose will be in the rotation, and then the Cal State Northridge transfer they just got to, not to mention McDuffie, and I'm sure Forbes will have some freshmen that are right up there, ready to go as freshmen, as he's had these past few seasons. But, they've got the nice addition from William and Mary. His name's blanking on me. So so you'll hope he'll be the next big thing there. Obviously losing Owen Hole is going to be a very hard piece to replace. But we were saying this last year after Kane Kepley left, and the year before after Vance Honeycutt left. So no doubt in my mind that I have 100% trust in what Forbes is going to do for next year's team.
Yeah, I have all the faith in the world and Scott Forbes. They're going to be just fine. They're going to be right back at it, without a doubt. Fellas, anything else you guys want to touch on? Because I want to get into more portal and more like off-season recap stuff in the coming weeks. I kind of wanted this to be a Carolina show, Omaha show to end the season. Could not do it Monday night, of course. Weren't going to do that Tuesday night. Reed Tobin, you flew back from Omaha. So tonight worked best. Wanted to recap that. But yeah, we will have our all Carolina Curveball team coming out soon, as well as our all 28 rankings. Looking forward to that one. That's going to be a real fun one. Got some other stuff planned for you. Got a lot of transfer portal stuff. Been looking at 64 analytics in baseball.
South Carolina Demon Deacon Chanticleers.
What about them?
Just South Carolina's roster next year is going to be all Coastal and Wake players.
Can we get a way too early Reed Tobin top 28 in the Carolinas?
No, but I did send out my way too early Omaha 8.
What is the Tobin?
What is that every year right after Omaha ends? He just sends us a way too early Omaha 8.
I want to tweak it. Let me see if I can. I've got UNC back, Auburn, Oklahoma, LSU, Georgia Tech, Texas. How many did I just say? 3.
I don't know.
ECU, that's 7. ECU, and then Miami 8. Yeah, next year they get it done. Wow. And then Miami 8. They have had a huge portal class.
Okay.
So that will tweak after fall ball. So
Blake Morningstar leading the Canes to Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
That offense next year will, with what they've added. I just saw they got another huge beast today from Pacific. They just got Pacific's best player.
I'm looking forward to the guys. I like the guys that come up from the JUCO and the D2 ranks. I saw Georgia Tech's been dipping in that pool which has been cool to see. They got some guys today from Young Harris, I think. He batted like 420, 20 bombs. It's like just this guy's absolute.
I saw West Virginia. They got another D2 pitcher that
Hitting-
committed to them too today.
That's the thing about hitting, in particular, is hitting will travel at any level. In my opinion, like if you can hit in D2, yes, you're facing lower level arms, but you're still facing good collegiate arms. And if you can hit at that level, more than likely you're going to be able to hit at the next level.
I agree.
So those type of numbers always will jump out at coaches when those go in the portal, and they're going to be bidding for them every time.
I agree without a doubt.
But yeah, I'm excited to put out all this content this week, so be on the lookout for that. Starting with rankings and All Carolina's team, we'll get to working on that, and then whatever else, we'll probably do a wrap up show as well, kind of going through every team's season, kind of a longer one. Where we can maybe get Colby involved too and everything. So yeah, we'll be on the lookout for more content. We're not going to just hang it up yet. I hope.
No,
not
we're
until
gonna
football season gets here.
Yeah, we're gonna go in right until like NFL training camp ish.
Yeah.
In a training camp time, got some portal content. Maybe one or two of us hop on, talk about some portal stuff. I know people are going to love that. They're going to get into fall ball this fall. Take a break from football. If your team's disappointing you, you can come over to Carolina Curveball and listen to some fall ball. I went to go see UNC. I went to go see ECU. UNCG last year in Greensboro, and they beat ECU twice in back-to-back games. And I was like, "Oh, is this over for the season?" But yeah, Reed Tobin, any closing thoughts, sir?
Hell of a season. So glad I was able to do it with y'all. Ton of fun. Bummed out the season's over. Wish I could be back in Omaha. Wish it was Regional Friday again. Can't wait for next season already. But yeah, looking forward to the next few weeks. Still bringing y'all some good content upcoming here over the next few weeks.
Braxton?
No, yeah, all good here. Like you said, great season. Really happy that we got to kind of enjoy postseason baseball together. I'm really thankful that we did get that Chapel Hill Regional because, we could have easily all been in different spots, kind of like last year. Last year y'all got to go to Coastal together, but I just think that really kind of summed up this season for us to kind of just end it there together in Chapel Hill and then right through Supers as well. And then Reed got to go to Omaha. I mean, that's 2 out of the 3 years we've existed where we've had a member that's gotten to go out there. So just really happy for that. But yeah, we'll see y'all soon.
I agree. We will see you guys soon. Be on the lookout. Got my docket right next to me. Things we're going to get out. A lot of fun stuff. A lot of hard work. We love it. Every second of it. Thank you for all the support, all the likes, all the follows, all the comments, all the engagement, all the hate, all the praise, all the above. We love it. Whether it's James Malice saying North Carolina won't make the tournament and they make the College World Series final, or Braxton saying Southern Miss goes 0-2.
Yeah.
All of it we love. And Reed Tobin, Chalk Tobin, we love you too. Good night, folks. Good night, folks. We'll see you next week.